Hello everyone, this is Player One. Thanks for joining me for another episode of In My Opinion. Today, while I ramble my thoughts, advice, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be running around in the MMO Terra. Terra just recently released their expansion, The Fate of Arun. This is an action MMO. It's a bit different from most typical MMOs because it's basically a first-person shooter mixed with a fantasy RPG. On top of that, the graphics are fantastic, which is why I enjoy just running around and looking at the gorgeous graphics and scenery. As you can see right here, I'm riding on my wolf with a warrior character. But as I was saying, it's an action MMO first-person shooter type game because the locking system, you can't actually click on something and lock on it. You actually have to aim where you're attacking. So, anyways, in this episode of IMO, I'm going to talk about what may seem to be like a lot of different things, but are all kind of related. Today, I'm going to talk about self-worth, judgment, inner resilience, inner strength, individualism, acceptance, uniqueness, stuff like that. There's a lot of different words to them, but they're all kind of related. So let's start with acceptance. Acceptance is something that's based on fear, yet it's a common symptom in most of the world. I mean, tons of people all over the world are afraid of not being accepted by others. And I'm stuck. Maybe I'm done. There we go. Alright. Because of that fear, many people do things that they don't really want to do and become someone they don't really want to become. If more people understood self-worth or inner strength, there would be more uniqueness and individualism in the world, which would make all those people happier, and in turn would make the world a happier place. The truth is that acceptance is the fear of being alone. A lot of people in the world don't like to be alone, and I mean, that's common. A lot of people, some people do, some people don't. But people are drawn to each other based on common interests, which I kind of brought that up a little bit in other episodes. Being a gamer and communities, common interests. Anyway, it might take a little longer being who you want to be and finding others like you, but there are so many people in the world, and once those people with common interests find each other, the friendship is stronger and happier rather than pretending to be someone you aren't, just to be around others sooner than later. Individualism actually draws in more people than most people realize. If people act how they want and be who they want to be, others pick up on that, and sometimes people see who they want to become and how they want to act because what they're seeing is happiness. So they might see someone doing something, and instead of saying, "Oh, that's crazy, I don't know why that person's doing that," they might say, "Hey, that's cool, I want to try that." Anyway, more people need to believe in themselves and have more personal resilience. Don't let others tell you no. Don't let them bring you down because they don't understand. Don't let them tell you that you can't do something just because they can't. The problem is that people judge others because they don't understand, or maybe don't agree with something. Either way, people judge others and then treat them bad when they really shouldn't. Judging others doesn't bring anything worthwhile. I mean, nothing good comes from judging others. The big problem there, though, is that it happens, even though you might not want it to. Judgment will always happen. It's almost involuntary. The trick is to slow down and think before acting. What happens for me is that if I find myself judging someone, I tell myself to stop and then completely disregard what I was just thinking, and I use my logic to control my thoughts. Just taking a look at the deer here. Not only do I find myself calmer, but I end up thinking clearer. Water's pretty clear. That's pretty cool. I like that. Seems like I got into a pretty cool little zone here. Anyway, sorry. A lot of people are afraid of being judged or accepted, which it's why those people are afraid of acting how they want or being who they want to be. Once again, fear brings pain. If that fear and pain goes on too long, sometimes that can cause problems to grow and become worse, which in the worst case scenarios can lead to severe depression or anger if someone just lets that go on too long. Anyway, let me ask you a question. What's the worst that could happen from being who you want to be or acting how you want to act? I'll let you think on that for a second, but I should probably clarify, though, that being who you want to be or acting how you want to act, in my opinion, should only not happen if it would, in turn, physically harm someone else. I mean, in an ideal world, there would be no reason you would want to physically harm anyone anyways. Physically harming someone else brings no real happiness to either person. And I say physically because mentally hurting someone is based on fear, both for you and the other person. Like I brought up in a previous episode, if someone is in control of their fears rather than letting fear control them, they can't be mentally hurt because mental pain is all based on fear. And using that same logic, if you're in control, you would not want to cause anyone any mental distress anyways. There's always other options. But physical pain is a reality that people sometimes can't avoid. Causing physical pain, in my opinion, is not okay if it's on purpose. Accidents do happen. Wow, that guy's big. Second, take a look here. I don't know if he's going to do anything or not. Well, he's getting up. Oh yeah, he's pissed. Alright, run away. Run into the pretty scenery. Okay, anyway. So yeah, accidents. Accidents happen, and physically harming someone on accident is an accident. It would still suck, but at least it's forgivable. So, going back to being who you want to be and doing what you want, and summarizing what I was just kind of saying, if you're in control of your fears, there'd be no reason you would want to hurt someone. In any way. Quite the opposite, in fact. I mean, if you're in control of your fears, most likely you'll want to help others and make others feel good. So, let's bring up another issue that I should kind of talk about. It's cultural. Governments and laws should be another deciding factor when deciding how you want to act. Just because you might want to go out and rob a store, you should weigh the consequences and think about it. Using logic and thinking about your actions will lead to your answers. In the example of robbing a store, if you think about it, you'd want to decide what you want more. Do you want the object of the robbery more than you want the risk of going to jail? Or the risk of a store owner defending his store and possibly overreacting and hurting you, shooting you, physically harming you, something like that? Well, wants and desires are another subject. I'll have to bring that up in another episode. This is kind of straying from my original topic. But either way, should think about these things, because they do matter. Just because you might want to do something that's illegal doesn't mean you should. It's just you gotta think about it. Where this all started was I was trying to relay my opinion that people shouldn't care about acceptance and shouldn't judge others in a negative light based on what those people like. People should be who they want to be, act how they want to act, and shouldn't care if others are different. Different is good. Different opens up the world to new things. Different is awesome, and you might like different if you tried it. If more people would just be themselves and not care about what others thought, those people would be happier, and in turn, they would eventually find others just like them. On top of that, if you care more about acceptance, do you really want people around you who don't accept you or like you for who you really are? And even more important than all of that, you should like yourself for who you are. Your own self-worth should be more important than what other people think you are worth. Anyway, I kind of feel like I'm rambling too much. It's becoming like I'm spreading it too thin, all this information. There's a lot to talk about there, but it really is all important because it is all the same thing. So I guess I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Bill Watterson he was the author of Calvin and Hobbes. He died many years ago, but he wrote some amazing stuff about a boy and his toy tiger, and the tiger would come to life. You probably know Calvin and Hobbes, and you know how awesome it is. But one of my favorite quotes is when Calvin was talking to Hobbes. He says, "I wish people were more like animals. Animals don't try to change you or make you fit in. They just enjoy the pleasure of your company. Animals aren't conditional about friendship, and animals like you just the way you are. They listen to your problems, they comfort you when you're sad, and all they ask in return is a little kindness." Unlike that monster I just fought. Sorry. Yeah, so that was Bill Watterson. He hit it right on the nose, Animals don't care about all that stuff that people shouldn't care about. They just care about who you are, and they like you for who you are. Anyways, this is Player One. Thanks for listening. I hope these thoughts help you in some way. Stay awesome, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.